Hello and welcome to the AFL Auto Blend 3D car creation channel. This is I think episode 16 in a series of modelling parts of a vehicle that I'm doing, a 1905 Star Gordon Bennett racer. Firstly, I'm having a little break from the chassis work. It's getting a bit monotonous, but I want to get as much detail in as I can. But before we start, this is not an actual modelling part. It's a sort of a look at where we are at the moment and a look at what we've got to do. So this will be a very short episode. I'd like to reach out to Corbin, I think you pronounce it that way. He modelled the vehicle when he was 15 years old, a few years ago, 5 years ago. He did it from SketchUp and he did an amazing job. So I'd just like to reach out to him. He's found this series and he's watching along. And he did apologise for, he didn't do the blueprints, somebody did the blueprints from his model. So he did apologise for giving me and yourselves a headache. I've assured him that the blueprints that were available based on his model are a good reference point, and his model is very neat and tidy, a nice model. And as I said to him, us creators, us modelers should stick together really. Anyway, let's have a look where we are. So I'm basing it on this image now. Now I've got the basics from the blueprints, and this is where we are to date with the chassis. It's coming along, but I wanted in the next episode to have a go at the body. So what I'll be doing is doing an episode of chassis, followed by an episode of body, and then back to the chassis, and back to the body, etc, etc. Okay, so let's have a look where we are. So if we go into wireframe, we can see what we've got to do. So this fuel tank is now this, which is elliptical. So this has all got to be stretched out. It's probably easy to show you on here. So there, we've got to match that up. This also splayed. We've got to put a foot plate. That looks like a piece of wood that is used for people to stand on and lift the bonnet, etc., the hood, etc., etc. So put a bit of shape in. The seats are like they've got a curve to them. So we'll be doing that curve to the middle, but also we've got this this scroll, this edging to the seats, which goes, the detail goes all the way round. I suspect it was a woodwork item, and it goes all the way round. So what we'll do is we'll model to the extremity of it, put a loop cut in close to the edge all the way round, and then we'll simply extrude it in. To get that feature. We'll only be modelling half of the seat, so we'll curve it round and then put a mirror modifier on it. So there's that. So in the next episodes for the body, we'll be making sure that this part is in the right place, this is in the right place and correct, shaping the seats a bit more, giving a bit more detail to the outside, making sure that the curvature is correct. Now, don't be too worried about very smooth faces on this. This is not a modern car, so the odd blemish, the odd dint would have been there from new. They never made them perfect in those days, but we will try to get it as dent free as possible. as you can see there, there must be a dent there because of that round. Must be some sort of dent there. And then these wheels, I presume, are wood, so we'll make those. And we'll be doing the chassis, etc., etc. I found an image for the chassis. Here we go here. So I found an image for the chassis that, let's close this down. If I can grab it. So drag this down. So I found this image, which is quite useful actually. So that's our channel. And I will put a series of holes in at some point. I'm not too fussed at this stage. But then this is the engine holder. So we're going to have some chassis connectors under the seat and various other places. But here it's not quite what I imagined. This looks to be one piece of solid. I used to be an engineer, so I would imagine it's some sort of galvanised ironwork, where it's milled out in certain places, and so the engine sits on that. This will be on what you call a yoke, which is like just a circular thing here. So we'll put that in, and then that is covered by this shroud. As you can see under there, there's a shroud, which would be a sheet of metal, which covers. I don't know exactly how that goes, but we'll do a best guess on that and do something that's, if you looked at the model, you wouldn't know the difference unless you looked at the main model. So hopefully we'll do that. But this, I intend to, for the engine, so I intend to model this as a big lump fitted into the chassis rails, and then probably put a shrink wrap modifier on it and cut out the holes. We don't have to be 100% accurate with it, but as long as it's somewhere near. And then this is a good old-fashioned starting handle, where they used to rotate it as fast as you can to start the engine. They didn't have luxuries of a starting key or a button in the cockpit. So and I do intend to model this at some stage. It's not a necessity, but I'd like to do that at some stage. Perhaps not in this series, perhaps later on down the line. There's a good little view of the seats. Seats are pretty basic, as you would imagine from a vehicle of that period, and we'll also be modelling the back axle and the driving chain. So there's plenty to do in this. It's not going to be a quick series, and this is my first modelling series, so it's going to be a bit of look and learn, and if we can help each other out, then brilliant. Okay, so the next episode, which I'll put up later today, will be sort of making sure that these parts are in place. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.